Welcome to BookHuddle. I'm your host, Karen Reader with Readgab. Today, our guest is Brian Gonsar. He wrote a graphic novel, and it's so perfect to talk about today with Halloween coming up. We've got Dracula's Brunch Club, and it is illustrated by Keenan Gaybba, and it's just fantastic. And we will get into graphic novels soon. I'm excited to talk graphic novels. But first, Brian, I would love for you to take a second and introduce yourself. Tell us about you.
Great. Hey, I am Brian Gonsar. I live here in New Jersey. I'm in kind of North New Jersey. Obviously I write, but my day job is a producer. I've done feature films, I've done commercials, music videos. I've worked with people like, I've done a Super Bowl ad with U2.
Oh, cool.
So lots of different things that way. I was a film major in college and I enjoy that. I play a lot of soccer still. Played in college, but still
Nice.
do that. That's my kind of exercise and release for the week. And then, if you can't tell by the book, I am a big donut fan. So I've got a little
Yes.
donut blog on the side. I kind of, whenever I travel for work or for fun, I always try to find a donut spot. So if you need any recommendations, hit me up.
Find the best donuts in the area. That's a
Yep.
good idea. I do try to find like the dessert that's kind of unique to that area and go and
Mhm.
eat. I was actually just barely in New York, and we're walking down Times Square, and we went into Krispy Kreme, and I was like, "What are we doing at Krispy Kreme? We got to find out what is the
Oh,
place that everybody eats here in New York."
yeah. Yeah, there's just a new one that opened up in like if you're in Times Square in the Times Square area, it's called I Am Donut. It came
Oh,
from Japan. It opened up in Japan and they just opened one up in Times Square and I've seen some lines outside of there. So,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that next time I'm traveling. Find out the
Yeah.
best donuts from you. Way to go. All right, so I love to do a question. I call it my author icebreaker to get to know just something kind of unique about you. So we've
Yep.
got Creepy Cran, Aaron Reynolds. He writes these books, Creepy Carrots, Creepy Pair of Underwear. And I just love it because it's like just an everyday object that creeps you out. I remember when I was in college, one of my coworkers was afraid of crickets. And it was so funny. Like he really just would be like, I'm not going anywhere near. I find snails, they give me the heebie-jeebies. I mean, I could touch it if I had to, but it's just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's creepy." Okay, so what is it for you, Brian? What's your everyday object or something you'd see normally that's kind of like, ugh,
So me, it is styrofoam.
styrofoam,
It is like nails on a chalkboard for me,
right?
like when you touch it and everything. So
Uh-huh.
like around Christmas time, like when I'm like unpackaging boxes and there's like all this styrofoam there, I'm like, all right, you take this out. Or
Nice.
I know like I think my family has wrapped up a box of styrofoam for me before. Now, the peanuts are fine, like those
Uh-huh.
are fine. It's just the stuff that like I don't know. It makes my skin crawl thinking of it.
Yes, yeah, I can relate on the styrofoam. My sister cannot touch wood. So if we go to hand her,
Wood. Oh, okay.
she's like, ugh, don't touch wood. Like it makes her cringe, like the feel of it. So
Yeah. Yeah,
like
that's all it is. It's
touching
like,
it,
mm-hmm,
right? Yes,
sensory thing.
I could see styrofoam not wanting to touch it. So if you go out to eat and they bring you a styrofoam cup, like doesn't Chick-fil-A do styrofoam cups and stuff? Are you like,
Yeah, they used to. Oh, like
I
I'll
have
take a
my own cup.
straw. Yeah, yeah. Bring a straw or something. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
or the styrofoam plates and like I'll just eat off this napkin.
Yes, right? Gross styrofoam. Let's be done with it.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us about Dracula's Brunch Club. First of all, what is it about?
Okay, so Dracula, is a well-known character, but in my story, he is a donut connoisseur. So he's like the best baker all around, and he bakes these blood orange jelly donuts for all the vampires, and that is what gives them their all-night energy, their everlasting energy. So he gets back from this worldwide donut tour, and he finds that his brunch club has been taken over by his arch nemesis, Constantine.
Right.
And to make matters worse, like all the jelly in the land has disappeared. It's gone. So, this kind of puts him at odds with the vampires. It's like we need to like we have no energy, like I can barely turn to a bat and fly. And so he's got to find a suitable alternative to this without, destroying the good relationship he has with the humans that he's built to avoid losing his brunch club forever.
All right, so what
So,
inspired writing this? You love donuts. So what
yeah, yes. So
besides
that
that you were like,
is,
I will put donuts in this book.
yes,
What
I need
else?
something with donuts. I mean, I wanted like two things. I wanted something that was, like I always wanted to read these kind of goosebumps books,
Right?
growing up, but I really didn't want to be scared. So I was just trying to get something that would be, maybe in a spooky wrapper, but not scary, something that's like silly and funny. So, this kind of like silly origin story of like, hey, well, what did they like before blood or for, anything else that. So I was like, oh, could be donuts and then like jelly donuts. And so it's just that kind of silly spoof kind of thing. Like I'm a
Yes.
big Mel Brooks fan, so like learning all the comedy and parody
Yes.
that he's done or as other people have done is I find fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I
Mhm.
we love like Hotel Transylvania. We're always
Mhm.
Dracula does not say blah blah blah. And I don't know why like my family thinks that's so funny, but we do. Like, and then we all look,
Yeah,
we're like, oh, and then we
it's
do it again.
humorous.
Like me and all my kids and my husband. I even when my kids aren't there, we still say I don't know.
I'll say
We think we're
it's
funny.
quotable.
Yeah. And so I think that that's perfect. Like because that was a popular movie, though they have like
Hmm.
we're out there. So kids
Yep.
they can definitely resonate with seeing Dracula out there. And oh, my kids love it when I bring home donuts. So I think it
Yep.
definitely has that appeal. So tell us about next steps. Why did it go the direction of a graphic novel?
My agent and I had originally pitched out a short story collection of like
Okay.
13 humorous like origin stories. It's like why you can't find the Loch Ness monster,
Oh, cool.
what happens to werewolves during the other moon phases, silly things like that. A lot of the editors were saying it's like, oh, I really like this. It's funny. I just want more. Like,
Right.
have you tried it as a picture book? Have you tried it as a chapter book? Have you tried it? So my agent was like, hey, what about a graphic novel? And I was
Right.
like, yeah, I don't really read comics. And she's
Right.
like, no, no, like it's different.
Yes.
It's like it's very different. So she gave me this book,
Okay.
Camp Midnight, if you ever heard of it, but it's like a very, very like creepy story, but it's funny. It's
Okay.
funny too. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like I think this could work. And like being what I do as a producer, a very visual medium, and it's written like a screenplay, and so like that just kind of flowed
Yeah.
really naturally. So it was really my agent's idea to put
Nice.
one of these stories in the graphic novel. We were getting a lot of good feedback about like this one in particular, so I just had to expand it out from 5 pages to 200
Right.
pages in there, and that was like something that I hadn't written something that long before, so I really just outlined it, spent a ton of time on outlining the story arc, and then once we have that, then it's really just screenwriting the kind of the dialogue in there.
So as you were doing that, do you ever like draw the little stick figures and they're like, and then they'll do this, or were you just, it was all the words?
No, no, like I can see it in my head. So like
Okay.
I could describe it, it's like screen direction or
Yes.
describe
That's
it
just how
on
you
there.
work. You don't draw pictures
Yeah.
on screenplay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it would be stick figures at best. It would, my drawing is less little to be desired. It's not I'm not a great illustrator. Like I love finding illustrators and I
Yes.
love seeing like their talent, but that's not where my talent lies, unfortunately. I'd
So
love to draw.
yeah, tell us about finding the illustrator then. Did the agent set you up? Did it come after the editor? When
No,
did the
no, this is this
illustrator
is
come?
me. So, like I said, I love finding, new talent, like whether it's a director or a musician or someone like that. So I was kind of on the lookout for an illustrator who might be able to do that because in graphic novels, they kind of want you to be paired with
Yeah.
an illustrator already because it's such a daunting task versus a picture book, like, oh, you just have to draw 32 pages, it's pretty quick. The publisher likes to set that up. So I knew I had to find someone to partner with. And I was watching a music video for this pop punk band All Time Low. They
Okay.
did a song called Monster with Black Bear, and then they did one with Demi Lovato.
Okay.
And I saw it and I was like, oh, that's the style that I'm thinking of. So
Nice.
I kind of went down this like internet rabbit hole trying to find out a way to contact him because he had no
Yeah.
social media, no website, nothing. So
Right.
I finally found him. It was like hidden on an old college Tumblr page, like an old email.
Ah,
So I reached
yeah.
out to him like, hey, like I love your work. Like, do you ever think of getting into books? And he's like, oh, I've kind of always wanted to. And I think
Nice.
his wife writes a lot as well. So he's kind of in and around that world. And so we put together this pitch packet together, and I was, very happy with it. And like his illustration style, I mean, it's kind of got that like 90s Cartoon Network
Yes.
thing. Some of the stuff reminded me of like Dexter's Laboratory. A lot of people are saying, Gravity Falls, which is a
Yeah,
newer
yeah.
one. People have said all sorts of different things, but I really like the style, and
Yes.
I think a lot of people, even we did get some rejections, but they always commented on the art. They were like, it's like, oh, I have a vampire book, but like this art is great. Like, send me
Nice.
whatever you're working on next, or they're all very
Nice.
complimentary rejections.
Complimentary rejection. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's good that when people can write it like that.
Hmm.
So, all right. I like that you didn't start out with going for graphic novels
Yep.
because we have a large number of adults out here,
Hmm.
and it's not just parents. We've got parents, we've got
Yep.
teachers, and sometimes
Hmm.
even we have librarians. And
Yeah.
I was there before too. I was
Yep.
one of the times when I was like, oh my gosh. Mostly I didn't care if my kids read it themselves. I was like, sure, read your graphic novels, but I hated reading them aloud. Like I was like,
Yep.
"Ugh, it has no
Yep.
substance for me." Right. So
Hmm.
I used to be one of them. I am not going
Yep.
to like criticize them. My goal is to help people see the benefit of graphic novels.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Agree.
can you share your thoughts about, let's not be afraid of kids reading
Yeah.
novels.
I mean, the biggest thing, my daughter's a little bit of a reluctant reader. Like
Okay.
like, all right, like if you force me enough or bribe me, like I
Yeah.
will read with you. She really enjoys reading graphic novels
Yes.
because she can interact with me. She will be like, all right, you take this character and I'll take this character and we'll read it together. And that gets, like it gets me participating, but it gets her doing it and doing something with me or something with someone else. So we have fun with that, and that gets her to read it. And so she'll
Nice.
pick out things, pick out books that are like that. She'll pick out a picture book and a
Yeah.
chapter book too, but she really likes that because she can read it with me and play a role, like, like
Yes.
you were acting. I think the other thing too is like with a graphic novel, I mean, not everyone learns the same way.
No.
I was great at memorization, but like if when I see something, I can remember it. But if you were just telling me, like it wouldn't, it wouldn't stick as much.
Right.
It's like if like you and I introduced you, we were saying hi to each other the first
Right.
time, and you're like, I'm Karen, and like I'm Brian, and I'd be like, crap, what was her name?
What was your
But if
like
I,
5 minutes into
yeah,
the
yeah,
conversation? I totally
exactly,
know.
exactly.
Right.
But if I see your name on the Zoom screen or on an
Yes.
email, it's like, bam, it's in there. So
Right.
like graphic novels are a very like multimodal way of
Yeah.
learning where like you can pick up things visually, you can pick up things through the words, whereas just regular chapter books do not have that as much. So I like having that dual way of learning for someone that may have a tougher time reading. I was talking with a friend today who has another podcast, and he's a teacher now at a
Cool.
college, and he was saying, he's like, I read a lot of comic books as a kid because growing up we didn't have a lot of graphic novels. It's mostly
Yeah.
comic books or
Yeah.
traditional books. He's like, I was dyslexic, and like the pictures like help me like piece it together, and so
That's
that kind of stuff is great for readers. So I mean, I would encourage people to read both, but like you're if you have someone that doesn't really want to grasp onto books or is like intimidated by the large chunks of text, that it's a really great way to get people at least liking to read and then building onto it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, well, if it's no books or graphic novels,
Yes.
what are we going to choose here?
Right. Right.
And first, fostering that love of reading. I love so much what you do with your daughter that you were
Yeah.
saying you guys would take turns because
Mhm.
so I have a 5-year-old and I'm teaching her to
Yep.
read, and she's really struggling picking
Hmm.
it up, and I'm not really sure why, but I've taught all my other kids
Yeah.
to read, and so, but they, I don't know, they just different kids learn differently, right? The other one
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
right off with it, and so I'll read to her, and she would get so stressed, and so I'd just pick out
Hmm.
one word, and I'd be,
Yep.
"You're going to read the word
Like,
and in this book."
yeah.
And so we'd
Yep.
practice it beforehand, and she just loves that. And so now when we go to
Yep.
open a book, she's like, "I want to pick what word I'm going to read."
Oh yeah. Good.
So yeah, and so that is I love this. This is such a good idea that I can pick it
Yeah.
up and be like, just because there's different levels of graphic novels now too.
Hmm.
There's so
Yeah.
many levels. Like we even have like Magic Tree House on my shelf,
Yeah.
and then
Hmm.
there's novels for young adults, and
Yep.
I think even there's an adult market of graphic novels.
Yeah. There is. Yeah. It's
And
pretty
so
popular.
it's
So,
just
but the early readers, I see a lot of publishers like looking to do more early reader crafty
yeah,
novels. I mean, like my daughter loved this one called Pocket Peaches, and it was the mallow one. It was like a marshmallow one, but like there's like anywhere from 2 to 4 characters in there, and so she would play that, and they're smaller chunks to read, but like designed for early readers.
and they want a graphic novel too, because that's
Yeah.
what's cool. That's what the older
Yep.
siblings or the kids in the
Yep.
the library, they see them going and grabbing the graphic novels.
Hmm.
A lot of these words, which another plug for
Yeah.
graphic novels, there's good vocabulary in graphic
Yeah.
novels, right? And
Yeah.
so I
Yep.
love that they're making the beginning reader ones. I'm gonna have to go pick some of those
Hmm.
for my 5-year-old for like some of these
Yeah.
next steps of reading together.
Yep.
I think
Yeah. No, that's great.
awesome. It's getting me excited. I can't believe I didn't think of that on my own. Thank you. So tell us about more about the spooky side of things. We've got
Yeah.
Halloween coming up, and
Yep.
so let's talk spooky without being spooky because
DC. Yes.
spooky's like cool, right? It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a comedy in a spooky wrapper. There is some intense, moments like, they're talking and it's
Yeah,
starting to get a little dramatic, and you get a
I
one
love that
page
picture.
spread like that where he gets a little angry. There are, some obviously the blood kind of thing
Right.
in here, but everything is softened by the art. It's like you've got some funny
His
reactions and things
eyes.
like that there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the funniness there. So it really softens the kind of tense or scarier moments with the art and also the comedy in it. They get approached and there's a very like ominous scene where the bad guy is just coming up behind them,
Yeah.
and he's like, the bad guy starts talking about like lurking in the darkness and vile things. He's like, and he's talking to his chef. He's like, your friend here should have warned you about some of these new policies. And then the chef is just like, you hear that, we're friends. And so
Yeah.
like with every little comeback or things like that, there's some comedy to soften the
Yeah.
moment. So it's good for it's good for younger readers, but it's also, the vocabulary is suited for, slightly older,
Yeah.
middle grade as well. But it's an easy, fun read that you can do around this time, around spooky season or whenever.
It's always a good time for
So
spooky.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, yes, for
Yeah.
sure. And I picture actually the book has been around because I got it
Mhm.
in the mail and my kids they want to go open my books for me. They want to see what's there.
Nice.
And so as the boys were carrying it around and reading it, I'm like, okay, but I need to know
I
where
need
it
it.
is. I
Yeah.
need to consume this one myself too. And so they're because sometimes they take them and I don't know whose room it is or what bed
Right.
it ended up under. And
You're like, I need this.
yes. It was
Yeah.
my 9-year-old because he loves to say out loud. He'll be like, "Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh, look and listen to this!" Like when they think it's funny because
Nice.
they love those
Love that.
plays with the words and
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Of
yeah, it's so much fun. I think it is so great and if it brings them joy, that's just the best thing to me, right?
course. Of course. Yeah. Like you want it to be entertained. There's enough drama at school or
Yeah.
pressure to get everywhere at the right time. And it's like, so reading should be entertaining. It should be a little escape, and so that's why I wanted to. I never want to like drive a message down someone's throat. It's like these, all the characters you can get like a good role model or a good, action out of them. Like even like Elena, the human friend, it's like she's doing things for like a charity auction for sick kids, and Dracula's like, oh, I will help by, donating my a year's supply of jelly donuts to you.
Yes.
But obviously there's a problem there because the jelly
Yes.
has gone
Jelly's
away.
gone, and
But
that creates so much tension.
yeah, it's even more tension. But there are some good things, within there, but it's really just entertaining.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think like so often teachers are trying to find, give me the book that has some good themes that I can teach
Mhm.
something powerful. And I'm like, they're there. But
Yeah.
do you know what? They're still here in the graphic novels.
Yeah.
You could hand this
Hmm.
to a group of fourth, fifth, sixth graders and be like, all right, find something, kids, that the characters disagree on, and
Hmm.
then let's have a class debate. And
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
are the vampires following Constantine, and you guys are the
Hmm.
pro-human vampires. And you
Yep.
could just create so many things that you could make the kids not make. You could encourage the kids to find these
Yeah.
deeper themes. There are so many things that could be done with a graphic novel.
Hmm.
Just past
Yeah.
that was funny, like there
Yeah.
are higher things, and I think it can be such a great tool
Hmm.
if it's used. It's
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there, and there's so many coming out. It's a really good form of learning reading as well. So I enjoy reading them. I read a ton of them myself, and also writing them, obviously.
Of course, of course. So, can you tell us, do you have more? Because I'm wanting to see like Loch Ness, Lockie, or
Oh
whatever. So
yeah,
are
yeah.
you
I have
still thinking along those lines, or what will
a
we see
little
next?
bit. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like we're starting to think about a sequel for this. I think it's been doing pretty well so far. So starting to think about a sequel for this. I've got another project as well that I'm working on with a different illustrator. That's kind of it's more in the fall kind of spooky zone, but
Okay.
like it's not really like a monster kind of
Okay.
story. It's more of a cooking contest with two rival schools,
Oh, nice.
which could be fun. That originated from one of those 13 things, but has morphed quite a bit
Nice.
from there. So that I'm always kind of working on something, but we'll
Right.
see what the next thing to stick is.
I like that the idea is just like, oh, I started with this and then it grew into
Yeah.
something else and it grew into
Hmm.
something else. And it does make me think as you're talking about it, I'm like, yeah, and that's how kids work, right? They
Of
start
course.
They start with what's fun. They start with where they
Hmm.
want to be, and then they grow from there. And
Yeah.
especially my oldest, he loves to pick up the graphic novels too. I've got, well, my youngest, my 5, but then I have
Hmm.
9, 12, and 16-year-old boy, and every graphic novel that I can buy, any one of them, are illustrated books, and they'll all pick them up and love to
Yeah.
devour them. But the older kids will then go and read, even though they've already like what was it, the Kingdom Keepers, I think.
Oh
Secret Keep
yeah.
of the Lost Cities. I
Yep.
anyways, we got the graphic novel one first, and there's, like
Mm.
9 books out. But he
Yeah.
knows the whole story. He knows everything that's going to happen because he's read the
Great.
graphic novel, but it's not stopping him from sitting and reading the full
Right.
version. And so I think
Hmm.
it's a great introduction too. And that's how they build on it and gives them further
Yep.
ideas and gives them interest in things. And
Hmm.
yeah, like
Yep. Yep.
it can take
Exactly.
them really far in life because, like you said, there's so many graphic novels out there and so many
Yeah. Yep.
books.
Yep. There's a lot out there. A lot of good ones. A lot of good ones too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because I think people
Mm.
often think of which they absolutely have their place, but like
Mhm.
the potty humor kind of stuff or
Yeah.
the manga. And that was where I had a hard time. I was just like like the big mouths, I was like,
Uh-huh.
I can't embrace it. I just couldn't do it.
Yep.
I'd read it out loud. But
Huh.
as I went and discovered other types of graphic novels, I was like, I can get into this one easier reading this out loud.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Good out loud reads. So,
yeah.
I mean, like a picture book. I mean, those are meant to be read out loud, and
Yes.
and because they're usually for kids that aren't really reading,
Right.
reading yet, but a good start to it. So, yeah,
Oh,
I think
you
it's
could
good.
readers theater this. In schools, they'll like make it into like a script, with
Yeah.
kid
Yeah.
everything, and then they stand up there. They could turn a graphic novel into readers theater and have the kids
Yeah.
there and perform it. And
Of
yes,
course. It's funny with that. Like my nieces and my daughter, like it'll be
yes,
a Sunday and we'll all be having like a Sunday dinner together,
Yes.
and they'll be like, let's make a movie. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, think of an idea. And like they don't want to go like write down things, but
No.
it's like they'll think of a like an idea, like a rough story arc, and help
Uh,
them, fill it out. But like it is, they're taking the cues from stories they've seen,
yes.
they've read, and kind of using it in a very visual way.
Right.
They'll want to create these
Yes.
stories. So, it's like stories can be created anyway. Like so many
Yes.
songs are a story. So
Right.
many, movies and TV shows started as a story. It's there's a number of different ways you can consume a story and write a story, and it's just, as long as these kids are getting seeing all the options out there,
Yes.
they can decide what they like and they gravitate
Directly
towards.
go for it. Yeah, and it
Mhm.
inspires their different creativity. Starting,
Yes.
I love that. I love
Hmm.
the kids are sitting around. Let's make a movie.
Yeah,
Dad,
yeah,
Uncle
exactly. So
Brian.
I'm filming, and then everyone else is talking, and I'm editing, and so
Nice, nice.
yeah.
Up to you, Dad.
Like, is it done yet?
Is it
Like,
done
hold
yet?
on.
Hurry, Dad, hurry. We already did our
Yeah,
part.
I know. I
Right.
know.
That's awesome. All right, Brian, can you recommend a book for us that you love? Some kind of children's book.
So, so this is funny. So my daughter's in third grade now,
Nice.
and I vividly remember a book my third grade teacher read to us, and it
Okay.
was, this book, Sideways Stories from Wayside
Oh,
School by Louis
yeah, yeah.
Sachar, and I'm reading it to my daughter
Nice.
now, and she loves it, and it was so interesting to see how that could stand the test of, time. Like I don't know if that
Yes.
was 80s or 90s, but like it was, it is she still loves it. She still wants to read it, the little bite-sized chunks. So I was really cool to see that, turn around. And a lot of it hasn't been outdated. Of course, she was like, "What's arithmetic?" I'm like, "Oh, that's like math." Or
Just a
like,
different word. Yeah.
she's like, "What's a schoolyard teacher?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just someone who's outside." She's like, "We don't have that." I really liked seeing that, like, was still around and still in bookstores. Also say like around this time of season, I loved reading Pumpkinheads. Now this is more of a young adult graphic novel. So, but it's just like it takes place all on like a fall farm, like where they have the
Nice.
hay rides and the candy apples and all that stuff. And I love fall. So it's like a
Yes.
very like a homey seasonal thing, which is
So
great. Same
it's not
thing.
spooky. It's just set
No,
during the fall.
no, it's
Okay,
just,
cool.
yeah, it's just set during the fall. I mean, there's some like kids that like are on the haunted hayride, but I
Okay,
think Faith Erin Hicks is a really good writer. She's got some no
cool.
grade and other young adult stuff, but
Oh, cool. I'll have
yeah,
to get that one for the
yeah,
16-year-old. That sounds really great.
yeah, it's a good one.
Well, and I think, like you were saying, that stood the test of time. I think that's got to be every
Hmm.
author's dream for a
Yeah, of
parent
course.
to love a book and then read it later to their child and have it still be
Hmm.
popular. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah, I love to see that. So, and my niece was the same way. Like I
nice.
told her about it when she got to third grade, and she ate it up and read it. So, there are some books that will stand that test of time, and yeah, it's cool to see.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brian, for your time. We'll look forward
Yeah,
to seeing what comes next,
of
and
course.
we'll get Dracula's Brunch Club, whether it's for a spooky season or other time. There's certain times that just summer, Halloween, and then winter because there's scary ghost stories and tales of the glories.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's just,
yeah,
cuddling up with a book, but it's all times a year. Dracula's all times a year.
yeah,
There's,
yeah. Especially National Donut Day in June. It's a perfect gift for that
yes,
too.
yes.
'Cause
Lots
donuts are
of donuts.
non-seasonal.
We love
Yeah. Well,
donuts.
thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun to talk about it and talk with you, and encourage readers to pick up a graphic novel as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that you enjoyed hearing about Dracula's Brunch Club. If you like my podcast Book Huddle, I'd really appreciate it. Could you take a second and go rate and review Book Huddle? Because that really helps more people to be able to find Book Huddle. Now you go and have a fantastic week. Read some amazing books.